Kia ora everybody, and welcome to our TENS Wednesday webinar for the month of May. Today we are going to be looking at Korero Korowai, and we will introduce our amazing presenters. But before we do, on the behalf of TENS and the TENS Council, I just want to welcome you to the session today. Just a little bit of housekeeping will be talked about after we start the session with our karakia. Maori ora, kia a mātou, arahina mātou, I a mātou mahi, ki mihia he huarahi mō te kaupapa o te mātauranga o Hangarau, a whina atu, a whina mai, te po e here nei I a mātou, hui e taiki. And kia ora, everybody. So welcome to our session. I've just said today, we have a wonderful presentation coming up, which is going to be a discussion about obviously lots and lots of different ideas to help and support you with technology education. Please be aware that those of you who are watching the webinar live now, you can participate by asking questions. If you do have a question during the conversation that's going on, please just use the Q&A box. We have our little Q&A box rather than a chat box for you. So please put questions into the Q&A and we will keep an eye on them, and then we will ask our wonderful presenters about them. Also be aware that this session is being recorded as well. So we will be recording it for your posterity and for you to be able to watch later on, and we'll give you more details about that after the session. So amazing introductions. I am very honoured today to introduce the wonderful Nan and Amy, who are amazing technologists who have done a lot for technology education over the last few years. So Nan, I would like to say is welcome to the TENS Council. She's one of our recent members that's just joined us because of her expertise in the space of technology education. Nan is the design and evaluation lead of Te Ao Maori e te kura kohine o te graffiti o te upoko o te ika or Wellington East Girls College. She's currently on her 1-year sabbatical, completing a Masters of Design at Massey, and research is based on customary and contemporary korowai and pedagogical approaches to enhance Maori learners and achievement. Not only is she an expert in this space, and that's why we've got her on this into this webinar today to help and support you all, but she also received a TENS award last year prior to joining us on the council in subject leadership in the tech education. So kia ora, and I'm going to introduce Amy as well. So Amy is one of our TENS advisors actually to help and support us in this space as well. So she's got 18 years as a technology teacher, fashion design and DVC, currently teaching at Customary College. In her spare time, apparently she may have some, she's been doing lots of costume design and working and exploring more about harakiki and using that material in lots of diverse ways. Huge commitment to obviously the integration and the weaving of Te Ao Maori into technology education too. And Amy isn't gone without an award either, because last year she received the Outstanding Teacher in Technology Award for TENS too. So kia ora, ladies, and I'm going to stop talking now and I'm going to pass on the presentation to you. So we look forward to listening to your workshop.
Kia ora.
Kia ora, Sarah. Nau mai haere mai ki te kakahuria, ki te atawhai. Hello and welcome. I'm just going to share my screen with you all. Is that working?
Yep, see it, looks good.
Kia ora, tēnā koutou katoa. Ko maunga hami te maunga, ko waipawa te awa, ko te aitanga a mahaki te iwi, ko takipu te karaka te marae, ko te whānau taupara tuku hapu, no te karaka ahau, no wairarapa ahau, no te whanganui a tara ahau, ko watana tuku hua tānei, ko tānei tuku tama, ko kia tuku taina, ko te kura kōhine o te rāwhiti o te upoko o te ika tuku kura. Hello, I am Nan Walden and I am a whakapapa Māori. and my passion lies in creating korowai and contemporary korowai. I'm coming to you live from Tokoroa, and I'd just take an opportunity to introduce Eva Hawkinson and her husband sitting across from me. They are in my presentation just down a bit, so kia ora. Over to you, Amy.
Move me on. Yeah, oh no, yes, there we go. Kia ora, ko take timu te waka, ko tarahaua te mauka, ko rāri te awa, hautahi te iwi, ka te hui rapa te hapu. My grandfather was Sir James Stewart, my mum is Wendy Elizabeth Stewart, my dad is John McCaskill. I live in Porirua, Mana. I'm a teacher at Scots College. Oh, I didn't change that, but that's when we were down at in Christchurch. And my name is Amy Elizabeth McCaskill, and my pronouns are she, her. Yeah, so I'm from my whakapapa Maori to Te Muka, and I'm on my Pākehā side, I'm Scottish and English. Yeah, I've been teaching here at Scots College for ages.
Kia ora, Amy.
Yeah.
So I just want to take you on a small journey of a few korowai that some of my students and I have created and co-created, and it shares about the journey a student takes when they're on the hikoi of making a korowai, and the identity or the whakapapa that comes with that is so awe-inspiring to watch. They just do better. Their lives get better, and they end up creating a beautiful korowai kakahu that is usually, in most cases, gifted to a position at the school and passed down through that position to give the government mauri. It's a mana enhancing and leaves a legacy behind at the school. So these are the first kakahu that I made using Pete's Emporium feathers. They are now falling apart, but this was 10 years ago that I started this hikoi, and we made these two kakahu for the leaders of the kapahaka, the male and the female leaders. But then they were worn by many different students and teachers. There's some teachers have worn them for their graduation. They were laid on the coffin of Ross Sinclair when he passed away. He was the principal for 8 years there. And this is them in their blessing. And the deputy principal there now, Grace Wright, came to me and said, they're falling apart, what should I do? So she gave them back to me, and Amy and I together created two new ones, and you can see them here on display. And just behind them you can see that the old ones are sitting in frames which now hang at Hutt Valley High School. So that's kind of what started it all for me. Another really special person who made korowai with me was Nation Masters. Nation is still in contact with me today. I came across her at St. Catherine's College when I taught there in 2018. She'd been excluded from Wellington High School for drugs, and she came to me, and during the course of the year, as she made this korowai, it just kind of gave her I'm not sure how to put it into words. It gave her a reason. It gave her a really positive reason to be at school, and I just watched her just shine. She just shone. And by the end of the year, she was first in mathematics, applied mathematics. You can see her here holding the Moana Cup for fashion. And her korowai is still with me today as kaitiaki. So Yeah, that was beautiful. That's those are, she actually bought a mop and pulled the mop strings out of it and painted them to make the little tassels there. So very ingenious. And this is it being blessed. This one was made at St. Mary's College, and this is probably one of the most stunning ones I've ever come across. Hinamotaka had access to a garage where she wove this entire piece. You can see it on the back at the taniko at the top there is St. Mary's College logo. She was able to weave in the stars, and this has now been passed down through the years to 6 different head girls. And yeah, the legacy, the mana, the mauri that is within this garment is quite amazing. You can see Hinimoa here, done a time lapse. We just watch for a bit and see, and people who have done rāranga or done taniko weaving can really appreciate what's actually happening here. Every single stitch, every single feather is hand woven into this piece, and this is done over the course of a year. Hinamoa decided to not do year 13, and she went straight into university. She was accepted into university from her excellence endorsement at level 2, and I think she's now 4th year. She's about to, she may have graduated. I'll look that up. Kata pai. So yeah, and this is it being blessed with her family. Her family came along and it was blessed and displayed in the school office. Shaylin Howard Valance is one of the most amazing students I've ever taught, but we did one where we stitched down feathers. So we used rows of feathers and stitched them down, and she gifted this to the head girl culture, and this is still worn today at St. Mary's College. So this set of slides is shared with you guys, and at the end of the slides after the thank you note, there's about 60 more slides that has a whole range of different students and different pieces of work that have engaged with Mātauranga Māori in this way. So this is Amy and I's presentation that we did at the TENS conference in Christchurch last year, and I've used this particular activity with a number of people now. So yeah, if you ever want to get in contact and come to Massey University and do some weaving with me and learn about implementation of Mātauranga Māori in your classroom, no mai, haere mai. You can see it here, working with the Wellington East Girls College students with the harakeke and making that contemporary pake. I'm currently doing my master's, so I have a 1-year sabbatical thanks to the Teach NZ study award and the Edna Joyce Howe Technology Scholarship. You guys should look that up. It's a lot of money, and it's 10 extra weeks on top of any other study awards. So I have been experimenting with 3D printing feathers. So some of my iterations here for you to see. And my journey has led me to Tokoroa. I sit here in Tokoroa right now with the amazing Eva from Kiwifu, who is just extraordinary. Is there anything you'd like to say, Eva, to the people?
Oh, I don't know.
We've just,
Yeah, we do. So our goal in 3D printing is to close the loop on 3D printing. It's really what we set out to do. Yeah. So we currently do both filament from both virgin material and from recycled material, but the virgin is just there because of supply issues of recycled material. But the long-term goal is to do only recycled materials, and we take back anything we sell. So empty spools, boxes, bags, shipping boxes, packing paper, as well as discarded print. So all packing material is reused. A box is typically good for like 10 trips before it's too ragged. And a 3D print can also be recycled easily at least 10 times before it breaks down.
And we've just finished making this reel, which I'm going to take back to Massey University and print a korowai with. So,
and that has every possible color pretty much inside it.
Yeah, we've done greens and pinks, and we've ombre'd it. You can see we've ombre'd it, so that we'll make one more of those tomorrow. So you can see in the background there of the photos, I'm using what's called a big rep. Big rep is a 1 meter by 1 meter 3D printer, and that's my biggest print that I'm just pulling off. Yeah, so I hope to make a piece that's just like really contemporary, that has it's a stunning, jaw-dropping piece of Māori toy that will go into spaces to help decolonize spaces and to inspire students, especially at Wellington East, to engage in this work. Nice. On this slideshow that I've shared with you guys, there's a number of links that talk about the use of the word korowai. And there's lots of different opinions of what a korowai is and who should be able to use the word. There's quite a strong sense from different sides of the art world that a korowai is this certain thing and it can only be called that. And other people think that a korowai can be, a Māori cloak. So there's a lot of korero happening around it at the moment, and I just want to let you know that it's okay. It's okay to take taonga Māori and share it in your classroom. And if you're not sure, no mai, haere mai, just come and ask me. That's all you need to do, is just ask. And I feel really, really good about being able to call this contemporary work a korowai. I've had lots of different discussions and korero, and I always come back to the same thing. If a moko kowai can be put on using a machine, then why can't we call this a korowai? There's a lot of different examples there, but there's a couple of videos here that I've posted, a couple of links to some really good articles that you can read, and yeah, do your own research, have a look, and if you're not sure, just come and ask. I'm really open to hearing from people. I've got a student in Auckland at the moment who's been commissioned by her principal to make korowai. She's Pākehā, and we've had numerous conversations about how she's going into that space and owning that space. It's hers to have. I'm also meeting with quite a number of different teachers at Massey University who come through and engage in how to implement Mātauranga Māori into their classrooms. So I hope that if you're not sure, don't be whakama, don't be afraid. It's okay. It's okay to give it a shot, give it a go, and we're here to support you as much as possible. Oops, here we go. And that's just that's my work with Amy's work that was gifted to Hataitai High School to replace the old ones. So yeah, they looked amazing when they were gifted on the night when Amy and I went to Hataitai High School. So kia ora. I'll hand it over to you, Amy.
Kia ora.
Ngā mihi. Ngā mihi nui. Kia ora.
Hi team. I'm sitting here weaving. So this year, I'm in my second year of which will end up being a degree in rāranga. So on Friday I graduate with my certificate. Yeah, level 4 certificate. I'm currently doing my level 5. It's all extramural. Oh no, it's not. It's noho, and it's extra to my full-time job, I mean. So this is my work from first term of last year, just learning basic skills. So I wanted to talk to you a bit about what I do, and then what Nan and I sort of talk about a bit too is our differences in our views, or not views, but in how maybe we use language in our comfort levels and our skill levels and our wants and needs, or, you know, and also what we all have access to and things like that. So I'm really lucky that at my school, there's a wonderful support staff member called Margaret Jackson, and she's a master weaver. She's been through this course that I'm doing now, Te Ao Aotearoa, and she over a number of years has been developing, doing it mostly as we do like weaving courses as little tag-ons and here and there and bits and pieces. But this starting 2 years ago, we started a course called Re-indigenisation Maori, which is like sort of Maori creativity, and students are actually working towards credit in Maori arts, and yeah, so we wrote that program. I don't get to teach it yet because I still need to teach all my textiles students, but part of the reason why I'm doing this course is so I have the ticket, and then maybe I can diversify and spread out how I can work that, and also eventually Whai Margaret will have to retire. She runs on Thursdays a kaumātua weaving group at the marae. We have a marae on site. We run a end of year course week of weaving. Yeah, so this is just my work. Oh yeah, can you go to the next one? It's weird, I don't have the controls.
Sorry.
This is my other work from last year. This is a collaborative piece, so I made the two pieces on the right, and then they came together for this whole outfit, which was Matariki inspired. And this one, the tatua, which is the belt up the top, that's got copper lights woven in, wire lights woven in that switch on. That's a belt, like a tool belt. That's what those tatua were designed for. It's folded in half. It's double, so it's like a pocket. So a pig basket, you know, like for around your waist, or you put your patu in there. So yeah, there was a metaphor around the person who collects the souls, the stars, and the pudding, and that's the inspiration. So yeah. Anyway, next one, please. Some more kitse there, just this work I've done, keep going on. Cool. So this is part of what we've done at school and my journey with this. Now, I haven't made these. These are made by every year 9 students. So these are the last 4 years worth. So we have the year 9, every year 9 does a Tikanga Maori term. It's sort of part of their ESS. It's not an option. They all have to do it, but it's kind of wedged in there in a good, a nice way. And they all have to do this. And part of that, they collaboratively make a kakahu and a tukutuku panel. Some years they've made one tukutuku panel for the whole year group. Last year they made one per form class. This year they're doing one per form class-ish again, and they're doing tukutuku panels in a waka shape. Margaret Jackson has only just started this term because she was off sick last term, injured last term. So they've just started this process for this year. So every year 9 during their noho visit, so every year 9 class does a sleepover noho during term 1. They do this as part of that, and they might do weave a row, that sort of thing. And so everyone should have touched this, and then at the end of year 9, it gets presented to the top scholar, and so on. It follows them up to year 13. Originally, the idea was that then the ducks would actually take possession of it, but then right up literally until the last minute, they then decided that they weren't going to do that, because there's such a living piece that depending on the kid who gets it, that it may well just live in someone's attic for the rest of its life. And we decided that we didn't want to do it. So now we're at the conundrum. So those 4 are up. The 5th one is with the ducks, and they'll bring it back about now. They start bringing all the trophies and stuff back. That one, what do we do with that one? You know, because it's not retired. How do we display it? Do we store it? Where's it going to go? What, that sort of thing. So that's the next part of this process. My other thing that I want to do as part of this process is these should all have their name and their description with them, because they've all got a name in it, you know, and we should know which year group everything is. So I'm going to go on it. That's my mission this year for labeling, so people know when it was created and whose it is and what its name is. So they all get named and blessed. They often present the tukutuku panels. We do a haka competition at the end of term 2, where every year 9 that we do our school haka, each year 9 form class competes against the others. They won't be able to present the tukutukus this year, and then this gets presented right at the end of the year. So Whaia Margaret and Whaia June work a lot on these during the year as well, tidying them up. They do most of the prep for all the materials. Yeah, and certain kids do it. So that's our year 9 program with kakahu. Now, the last couple of years and this is last year's one, which was a matariki, Te Iwa or matariki. And that's, you can see the details there. And we displayed that at Nan's exhibition, Nan's and Kohara to Shine at Massey University. And hopefully we'll do display this year's one as well. But this year I should have actual the year 13s that are doing theirs for display as well, which will be exciting. So in Te Ao Maori, there this year I think are 3 girls doing a kakahu like this, so a woven one, and I was just talking to Whaia Margaret today, and she said that one of the girls is already like, you know, has more than 1 row on at this early stage. 2 students made them last year, but they were got finished very much at the end. They didn't do them for credits in the end, but they did each get to present. They presented them to each other. Our 2 sort of head Māori girls that just at graduation, they gifted them to each other. They made them for each other for them to wear for graduation. So they got finished for graduation, but not for credits. But I was going to mark them with the prototype and conceptual design technology standards. Yeah, so that's just that's the plan. So this year, hopefully this year, they will be done for credits, for those technology credits. So they'll be keeping the workbook and everything. I've set up that program, but then it's overseen by Margaret, but then it'll be marked by me, which would be quite nice to do it as a sort of with not having been touching it. I think, you know, often as technology teachers, we, you know, you know too much about it, and then you have to mark it. So it'd be really nice to really just sort of have them revealed at the end. I go over to the marae once a week, and I do see them and what they're up to. So that's really cool. And then we also, yeah, we do tukutuku panel. We do that actual unit standard, which you can find my presentation that I did all about that on the TSET conference website, because I presented all about that. The actual, I've got the actual program I wrote for the tukutuku panels. The other thing I've written but not yet taught, had someone buy into, that I think is a really good way of bringing this into our classrooms, is to do a cloak, a kakahu, for applied design for level 3, and doing it much more in Nan's contemporary sort of way, in that they could make a taniko maybe like lots of different ways, like, and rather they could do it obviously with taniko, but you'd need to know how to do that, so that might not be. But then my vision was that we could do it on my embroidery machine, you know, embroider a taniko band. Then you could do applied design as far as making your feathers, so they didn't have to be real feathers. They could be feathers, you know, the cut out recycled tire ones. And I was trying to encourage, the program that I've written for that is like 5 layers of feathers, like it would just be a short kakahu, 5 layers of feathers, and one should relate to each year of their schooling. And so they might be different applied design. You know, we could print them, we could laser cut them, we could do, and yeah, a contemporary sort of thing, and also print the lining, like screen print the lining with some kind of story. And some might be super contemporary, and because they're not necessarily and the idea being that they could be for graduation for the students, they'd just be a rectangle. So use a lot of the basic teaching around it, but so that Pākehā students, it's still quite a cool thing. And we did that. So I did costume at Toi Whakaari, and at Toi Whakaari, every student gets a graduation cloak garment made for them by another student, not just in costume, like in all the acting and everything. And so I was really inspired by that, because it wasn't about it being a korowai, it was about it being a special garment that was made for that person, that's special. So a lot of the sort of business students would be embellishing a jacket, you know, and it wouldn't, but it would, and then some people like us costume students, most people, we would make a from scratch, dyed, beautiful. I've got this really country, and my one that got made for, and it gets made in secret. This denim western with tassels and black, red, denim, red and white, and it's just a really cool garment, you know, a lovely piece. Yeah. So those are some ways I'm bringing this into my classroom. And then in that sort of, you'll have heard a bit of the language that I've been using. So this is maybe what we can discuss now. I don't know what's next. What's the next slide? Oh yeah, I can get into this. So this is a piece I made just for myself. So this is my kakahu. I made it, I went over to Fleece to Fashion in Armidale, New South Wales last year, where I won an award for this garment, Aotearoa, on the right. It's a recycled wool competition, and that's a recycled wool garment made from factory scraps from Manawatu knitting mill. And so the piece that I'm wearing, it's made from wool. It's a purchased taniko band, knitted in New Zealand, and some feathers, and so it's sewn, partially sewn, and I have done some knotting and took taniko of the wool. I got really big fat wool as the sort of tassels. So it's like a super contemporary piece, but I just wanted something cool to wear for myself. So I made it for myself, and and I've got graduation on Friday, and I'm trying to decide whether I'm going to wear that, because I've had, you know, 4 other graduations in my life, and I've never had a kakahu, and I don't know if I want to wear that. There is pieces at school that I could borrow, or whether it's a certificate, maybe I just want to be chill on a Friday morning and not do anything like that. But a lot of the other weavers, so at the end of this year, we make a Pākehā rain cape. So for level 5 graduation, I'll wear that, most likely. But yeah, so I'm not quite sure. Yeah, because everyone will be wearing these beautiful pieces they've made. I've also got, if you go to the next page, this year I made this piece, which is woven. It's very stiff because it is just harakeke, but it could be worn. So I don't know. I've got to experiment with that tonight, whether I want to wear it, because I made it with the intention of it being worn. But yeah, it is quite stiff, and so I don't know. Yeah, but anyway, so that's this. Yeah, and these are some more pieces that I made. Yep, there's just the rest of my pieces, and that's it. I don't think I put anything else on. Yeah, cool. And so these are the bottom row, the coloured piece is my final hand-in from the end of last year, which was on the 3 baskets of knowledge. So they're 3 baskets that all fit inside each other, and they change in colour. They get lighter or darker, depending on which way. And the outside one has some glitter in it as well. And the top one is just like a table runner. That was the first thing I've done this year. It's mostly just kind of a play piece. So I've tried lots of different patterns, and it's got like I dyed it multicolored. So that can be used as a table runner. That's another piece where I thought it can be wrapped around you. It's 1.5 meters long, so it's sort of a bit long. Could be used as a panel for something, but at the moment it lives on my dining table as a nice runner. So I'll go back to what we're sort of talking about, which is especially because of my teachers doing this weaving and things like that, and my connection with my Māori whakapapa and my knowledge of the language and my comfort level and things like that, I'm still at this choice mostly where I tend to just go with a generic kakahu, which we tend to use for just means clothing, kakahu to describe pieces that aren't korowai, or pieces that are wearable pieces if they're not a korowai, which I've been sort of drilled in that a korowai is only if it's muka and has the black muka tassels, sort of as that's what some of, and then you'd be a kakahu huru if it's got feathers on it, things like that. So that's just a nice thing that Nan and I like to talk about, because I will, and I'm happy that I have no problems with that, but it's my comfort level is that's how I used to talk about toi tui Māori. Yeah. So yeah, that's part of what we were talking about, and that's what I'm doing at my school. I am, like Nan, happy to have a conversation. I'm not super staunch in my absolute. I'll come back to you with questions too, probably. I'm not, but really love Nan for her her korero around it.
Kia ora.
Yeah.
Kia ora. Ngā mihi nui, Amy.
Ka hura.
Yeah.
So I think, is that sort of us? And then we're really happy to take questions, or what do you want to do, Nan?
Yeah, I'm really happy to answer any questions now, and just pass across that message that Kiwi Phil is amazing, and that Kohara to Shine is on again this year. We had 7 schools last year participate at Massey University. We have 14 participating. If you want to join us, get in contact with me, Kei te Pai. Even if you're not from the Wellington region, we're really happy to experiment with couriering exhibition pieces or whatnot. And TENS has come on board with some prizes. Next year we're going to open it up nationwide, and TENS is going to come on as a TENS competition. So yeah, think Rock Quest, Show Quest, Māori Cup for technology students. Kohara to Shine. Ngā mihi.
Oh, Hi, ladies, thank you very much. What an inspirational discussion that you've actually put forward for everybody. I mean, I have a couple of questions, but it looks like we've actually already got some. Sandra, you've obviously got some amazing people who have loved your discussion today. So Sandra says fantastic work, Nan and Amy. Thank you for sharing. So that was a lovely piece of response and feedback there. If anybody else has any questions in particular in regards to obviously the content from today, please just pop your questions into the Q&A and we'll answer those now. I've just got a couple of things and wonderings coming from, obviously my background is more in hard materials as opposed to the fibers as such in that respect, but obviously you can see that this can weave into every technology area, and it's very inspirational, especially from the aesthetics. But what I didn't know, which was kind of interesting, was the functional side of some of these garments as well, which Amy just pointed out, especially with the belt that you were making as well. So that was amazing to find out. As a technology teacher just starting off, how would you suggest that people could start in this process? Like what could they do as a nice introduction to weaving some of this content that you've just shown us today into their own classrooms?
One of the best little projects I've ever done is one that Amy and I came up with kind of on the spot real quickly, is just shredding harakeke, and every student gets they call it a rau or a frond of harakeke. They prepare it. We use nails or any kind of sharp tool to shred it, and then that shredded harakeke then gets placed onto a communal tie, or otherwise known in Te Ao Maori as a kaupapa. So, and that becomes a wall hanging, and that can be done over a couple of lessons. If you want to harvest the harakeke yourself, it can be done in one lesson. if you have a couple of lessons in the week that are next to each other in days, then you can go out and harvest the harakeke on one day, and you can then shred the harakeke and make the wall hanger on the next day. And if you don't know about harakeke tikanga and harvesting, there's some great clips on YouTube, and I'm really happy to help with that. I think some people find it it's not as big as it actually made out to be. It's actually really quite a simple process, and yeah, really happy to help in that. So yeah, that's one way you could chuck it in there.
Yeah.
And
So I don't have, so I'll go back to the presentation I did at TENS conference, at TSEC conference, the tuku panels. So if you look at, there's a great company that does these little tuku panels as class kits, Fitty, my brain, and yeah, it's named like one of the, anyway, they do whole class sets of little tuku panels. So they're just little sort of pegboards, and tuku is little like cross stitch. But that's one that is really good resources. Christchurch Libraries, Auckland Museum has good resources. There's even math, there's resources on tuku that are like maths resources from like NZQA. So that's quite a good one, because it's and then because for tuku there's quite a sort of standard symbolism, kind of like, I got told a bit flippantly, oh, there's only 7 anyway, like designs or something, but there's sort of potama, which is the steps, and there's triangles at mountains, or the haka, there's sort of, and that's on the Christchurch Libraries one, has a really good breakdown of like the sort of 9 main designs, and those relate well. They're taniko, there's the same, that, so it's starting to get that language, like this is a all these kinds of shapes, and so I think quite a good start in, because you might not feel confident to actually do these activities and things like that, but just working on a bit of that language, so that that what a potama is, also what a or the flounder, which is like a diamond, and maybe just adding some of that language in, that when you do a certain thing, it could be included as like even just like a sort of decorative element. And because I did a bit of a workshop at the TSEC conference with Dallas, and he was talking about the core 5 patterns, which I'm still not I don't know heaps about, but that's a similar one, which there's sort of a few basics, koro and stuff, but how just even naming and language, that's great, right, for literacy and things like that. It doesn't actually even necessarily mean that kids have to use it or you have to use it, but knowing that language, because I think that's a big thing that I think about a lot, is just the quite often when we're designing or finding influence, and for some reason we're still using Coco Chanel, and it's like actually having that a language base of things that aren't that, that when you're looking for, what woodworkers are you inspired by, or what engineers or whatever, that we're finding language that's more relevant in Mātauranga Māori, because that's how you can slot that stuff in, even if you're not whacking a koru on it, because that's not what I think we should be doing. But if you have a bit of that language, and even like we've talked about whether you call it a kaku, whether you call it a korowai, whether you all the different elements that you can have of these things. Yeah. So,
fantastic. And I really like the reference to symbols that you made there. I mean, that's our key competencies that we've got in the curriculum as well, isn't it? So it's not just language, but it's also the representation of the different symbols. And like you say, like we all, many times students use the koru or something like that as a symbolic pattern in their designs, but actually exploring some of these other aspects as well. yeah, and using cultural responsiveness that way in design. I mean, just from what you were saying, then I could be inspired by getting the students to, like, if they're learning potentially, I don't know, I might be wrong here, but if they're learning the skills of embroidery and hand sewing, then using some of these symbols as to be able to practice some of the shapes and things on pieces as a starting point, just to get them going, to try things out, to experiment, and then obviously use that in their own practice. Something like that potentially could work, maybe. I don't know.
Absolutely.
In the Q&A, thank you, Wendy. Wendy's just gone and popped a link to the tukutuku panel information. I will copy that as well, so that I will save that so we can share that too. So I've just done a copy of that one. But thank you for sharing for everyone else in the webinar. Another quick question that I have as well, obviously coming from a materials processing kind of background as well, is how do you encourage either yourself or all your students, how do you go about selecting the different materials? Because you obviously showcase lots and lots of different materials. Some of them are obviously very natural, very traditional materials, and then obviously we're playing with like more contemporary materials as well, using more modern materials that we've got and new technologies. So how do you go about introducing that with your students in the classroom or in your own design?
Nice, that's a really good question. It's been a trial and error over many years to find the best kind of material for the particular technique. I know with taniko and trying to extrude muka from harakeke is really quite challenging, and even trying to weave with it is a challenge. But over the years, I've found a really nice cotton cord that works lovely with embroidery threads, and you can get those. You can like find bags of that stuff at op shops to weave taniko, and we do like just a small piece, maybe 3 or 4 whenu or warp strands down, and then get each student to do a little piece of taniko using the embroidery thread. But definitely trial and error. The feathers I source now from a local, a New Zealand made place, and I used to go to Trade Me or Pete's Emporium, and yeah, they were quite expensive that way too. And things like taniko bands that you can buy, and fabrics. What kind of fabrics do you use as a base fabric? Usually just an 100% cotton, something like that. And getting students to be really quite a bit more fun with their materials choices. So we've had a lot of really kind of ingenious takes on how to do things like tassels. You saw before Nation used mop strings that she actually literally pulled off a mop and painted herself, which is really cool. We've had use of, faux fur and yeah, lots of cords. Hopefully gonna get my students into 3D printing as well, and just taking it to the next level. Yeah.
And I think I'd jump off that. That is a challenge that we've sort of had, like with I was just talking to Margaret today with the tukutuku panels that we do with the kids, for example. There has actually been like controversy with other staff members in that we were using like this sort of synthetic leather that and that teacher was sort of like, no, we got to use all natural. And then Margaret's this year just been doing, because obviously we'd quite like natural, and she got them to do the first tukutuku panel with Pingao and the other one, and but it doesn't run smooth, it breaks. She has to do all the prep because there's no way of doing that. But we use like a filament for that, this sort of flat plastic, and that's really, that they do the loom bands or those things out of. And they're not actually making that anymore, or something apparently. So she's literally, this year we're going to be trying to figure out what's the good alternative so that you can still do the thing. I always have an interesting korero about that, which is I shouldn't be the one that's figuring that out, because actually, like for example, with these new MPT standards, this is what I'm really struggling with this year, is the kids are somehow supposed to do that experimenting. So you can make it, like, I really try and have a really recycle as much sustainability as possible. I don't want them to use new things. I don't want them to go out and buy stuff. So we go and try, you know, you try and give them all these opportunities, but they still want you to tell them what to make it with, right? And so it's definitely a bit of Nan's doing that figuring out for her own practice, which is for our students. And I'm not sort of saying that we shouldn't, but it actually is up to figuring out how to inspire that creativity in the students, but also how to give them that space. That's me. One of the things I'm saying, like this, so this course, the first year of the weaving course that I did, the first year is free. And it's in your evenings and weekends. And so anyone around New Zealand that has access to a toanga Aotearoa, I drive up to Palmerston North, so I drive an hour and a half to go to my Monday night classes and to my weekend nohos, because I just needed to do that learning, and that was the way I could do that learning. But there's also online ones, and you can do, I have to be around other people, so that's my extrovert but you know, it's doing that research on your own, but also just trying to give as much access to it as possible to the kids. So I'm just always putting stuff in the newsletter, asking for people. I've just gotten a whole lot, someone's moving, and I've got their whole like gift wrap everything. Like they were obviously that kind of person, and I've got like all these ribbons and all their gift wrapping stuff because they're moving into a retirement home. So I've just got that. So now I'm like, cool. What project am I going to write about around what I have, right? Because that's the thing. Nan and I, maybe we've done that research about, we know how to do harakeke. In my school, we've got a pa harakeke. I've got a flax bush literally outside my door in my classroom that I can just harvest from because I'm happy to do that, because I'm allowed to have talked to the groundsman, because that's what they're there for. But that's not easy for everyone. Just like, but I know like Ruth up in Masterton, she was worked for doing the taniko bands on her korowai that she made last year. She worked directly with the knitting company to design those and to get those knitted. So it's sort of finding what resources are out there, finding what companies like Nan's done with this Kiwi Fill. You know, we've got all this innovation in New Zealand, so, and it's exhausting and it's hard to fit it in around all our other stuff, but it's figuring that stuff out. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I mean, that was a really comprehensive answer. And I understand what you're thinking with especially with the new level 1 standards. I mean, one of those standards is all about experimentation and exploration of materials first. So yeah, I mean, what an amazing opportunity this would be for people to, just explore and to get tactile, hands-on in trialing things out. And yeah, I also take on the point that you made as well about obviously some materials, if students haven't done any weaving before, then they may find some of the materials actually quite hard to use as well. So it's actually enabling them to achieve success, so that they want to learn more as well, isn't it? Through that testing and trialing use of different materials too. Fantastic. Well, I think that's it for today, ladies. There's no more questions, and I think we've got people who are obviously watching us all. What we will do is I'll just share my screen, Nan, if you wouldn't mind just
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, you're all more than welcome. It's all good. I'll just finish these bits and pieces. Coming back in. So yes, and once again, thank you very, very much for obviously the content for today and for sharing your practice, your expertise, and these amazing designs. I mean, I feel very honoured to actually have seen some of these different designs that are coming through, not only from you guys as experts, but I mean, look at the creativity and the design elements that your students have brought in and the passion that they've brought to some of these different things too. It's phenomenal, really, just showing what we can achieve, but also what we can enable our students to achieve as well. Especially in our subject of technology. So yeah, thank you once again for taking your time out today to join us. Those of you who are watching today or are watching as a video, please, we do ask this every time, but please could you fill out the feedback form for us? This feedback form is for us at TENS to help and support to create more PLD events like this for you. We want to know what you want from us and also what you you enjoyed about today's session. So you can QR code this or follow the link. The slides, I think, will be shared with you as well at the end of the session. So what we will always do is not only will we save the link to this video and put the video on YouTube, and we will send the link out to you. Those of you that have attended will get a certificate of participation as well for today's session. And we will ensure that the link to the slides is shared with you as well, so you can access some of those amazing resources that Nan and Amy have shared with you today too. So that's for today's session, and we've got quite a few people saying thank you as well on board here in the Q&As, ladies, especially if you want to have a check. And oh, Hannah's just put a link to it says www.feathergirl.co.nz. So yeah, Amy's nodding her head, so maybe that's another great resource to go and have a check out and have a look at as well. So next month we're going into digital technologies, and we have Julie and Jen from Grok Academy. We've had Grok on before, but we've got Grok again because they've just releasing some more resources. These are free resources for any educator in Australia and New Zealand to use. So the focus next time is on data representation, algorithms, and cryptography. And that is today's session. We will finish with our karakia. Ki a mātou katoa, kua motu mātou I a mātou mahi, I a mātou kaupapa hoki. Arahina mātou, kia koe, mātou a mātou he papa. Kia whakatapua mātou ki ngā kaupapa, me ngā mea e whakapono. Manakitia mai mātou. Kia ora everyone, ka kite.
Kia ora.